Welcome, one and all, to episode 76 of Peace Talk. This is the Peace Dealer. Just got my hair cut, feeling fresh. Today we have a very special guest, and I'm very happy and honored to introduce Brie. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you? I am
I'm
so excited to be here.
I'm definitely feeling great. I
So,
like your background right there.
oh, thank you. Thank you. I have another one that I'm going to tie dye and put across the room.
Oh, nice.
So,
Did you make that yourself?
I did not. I bought that one and then I bought one that's similar. And I just decided that it needs tie dye. So,
That's
I,
what's
uh,
up.
I, yeah, I do a little bit of everything. So, big into arts and crafts.
Cool, cool. And where are you based in?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. What's the weather like there right now?
It's windy and chilly.
Okay, so it's definitely getting to that winter vibes for sure.
Yes, yes. Excuse me, I'm going to cough real fast.
No problem.
Sorry.
And Indianapolis, is it more what's the fall and winter like? Is it really brutal or is it
It
chill?
actually, it kind of depends on the summer. So if we have a mild summer, we tend to always have a really harsh winter. I've noticed in the past 10 years anyway, this uh, kind of trend. So our falls can be really nice. We can get down at these and as high as the 80s in the day. So, kind of still summery weather during the day and nice camping weather at night. So, um,
Nice.
yeah. So we get beautiful leaf change here. So, we get the bright orange, we get the yellows and all that. So fall is actually my favorite time of year. So,
Okay. That's what's up. And okay, I was about to skip and say I'm sure you're ready for your season, but for those who aren't aware, what's your sun sign and your moon
uh,
sign?
I, I am a Sagittarius sun sign, and I am a Leo moon.
Oh,
So,
double fire.
yes, and I am a Taurus rising. So,
Taurus Rising Club in the building. That's what's up.
right?
And yeah, Leo Moon. It's good to know you're a Leo Moon because that definitely adds to the side. I'd like to explain that real quick, but one thing I really one thing that I'm amazed about more and more is how, for sure, sight is Sagittarius, like seeing energy and being able to see visions. So that's, I mean, I'm sure there's a Piscean influence, but it's very astounding. And I didn't realize how much I didn't see until I really researched and studied the sign of Sag, which I see as an attainment. It's not something everybody has. So what's it like having that with the Leo moon?
It it's intense. It's very intense. It's like when I do energy work and I focus in on people, I see, they always talk about the thread that people have coming
Mhm.
from them, and I really do see like this cord of energy that comes from people, and it just kind of goes and it can connect to other people. It can, be running into different paths, and I can kind of follow that. Um, and then I can see energies that are coming at this cord, ones that are attached into it, ones that aren't. It gets really intense sometimes. So, um, and then, when I'm doing my divination, sometimes I literally see what's going on with the person that I'm reading as I'm reading them. So I
Oh,
don't
nice.
intentionally remote view, but I do sometimes remote view, and that's always fun. So.
Have you ever remote viewed to find anything like a remote control or to kind of see something someone was missing or at least just to see something real time that was happening?
Yes, I have. And normally I'm fairly close as to where it's at. My When I was younger, my mom actually used to. There's a game you can play where you get three or four people together and you choose objects for the three of the four, and then the fourth person goes off into another room and they attempt to visualize what the other three people are holding, and they write it down. And it's a psychic development thing, but my mom started doing that with me when I was, god, 7 years old.
Wow.
So yeah, so I've been around this, the energies and being exposed to them for a very long time. I actually claimed my own path when I was 6 years old. So, and it was shortly after that that my mom started really working with me. And I don't think she even knew I claimed my path at that point. So
That is so badass. You claimed your own path. Wow.
I did. Would you like to hear the story?
Please. Totally would. That's amazing.
6 years old. 6 years old, one of the chores that's very appropriate is to have them take the trash out. So we had a house that sat back, and we kept the trash can around the side of the garage. And, a lot of 6-year-olds are afraid of the dark. And it was fall, and mom said, it's time to take the trash out. I'm petrified, didn't want to go out there. I walk out there, and there's this beautiful full moon, just absolutely gorgeous. And as soon as I walk off the porch under the full moon, I look up, I feel very secure, and I threw the trash away, and I raised both my arms to the sky, and I go, I am a child of the light and dark. I can use either at my will, but I will always try to do everything I do in love. And that was the moment that I I just felt whole, and I was no longer afraid of the dark after that.
Wow, that's amazing. At
Yeah.
6 years old, too. Wow.
Yeah. So, uh, um, mom worked with me for, I didn't even realize she was working with me. One of the things that we're going to do today, I think, is we're going to do a guided meditation.
Yes.
And my mom actually taught me how to do that when I was 8 years old. So, and then when I was 13 is when I kind of went off on my own path.
Mm.
So that's when I started doing the tarot and looking into spells and casting and working with divinations and things like that. So, yeah, I've
At
been at this
12
for a
years
while.
old.
Well, I started looking at it well, okay. So when I was 11, I had my inner sanctuary set up for me. For those of you who don't know what an inner sanctuary is, it's that very private spot that you go inside of yourself where you can actually commune with your higher conscious, your higher self, the universe, and your guides. It's literally like a place to go sit down and have tea with them. So, and a lot of times guardian spirits, totem animals, things like that will be there. And you kind of design it to fit your personality.
Mm-hmm.
So mine at the time that I designed it, it was shadow. I didn't know why it was shadow. I do now, but it was very misty and everything. Um, so 11, I set that up. 12, I started looking into things. When I was 13 is when I really started into doing things on my own. So,
Nice.
and I've been doing actively honing my gifts for 25 years now.
That's
So,
so amazing. That's so amazing. As someone who's just really starting, like, and it's 4 years in, that just gives me a lot of inspiration. And I've always felt that, like, Sagittarius, Capricorn, these higher signs grow up a lot younger and they come into a lot younger. So it's really great. It's more than confirmation to hear you like share your story like so. And for those watching, stay tuned. We will have a guided meditation. It's going to be amazing. And just to catch everyone up, I actually met Brie, luckily, because she created a soul portrait for me. And here's an image of it. It's awesome.
I cannot wait to get that out to you. So with my artwork, I find images And yes, I mimic them, but I would burn them. So I do spiritual artwork, um, and I put intent into them. So they are filled with love. They are filled with whatever intent I feel like the person needs most in their life. And with yours, with all of them, I do change them up some from the originals. So I combine 2 or 3 pieces.
Mhm.
So yours was very, I searched for symbols that fit you and hid them in there. So,
And that's one thing I appreciate about not just the Sagittarius vibe, but just people who do the work you do. Like, it's for someone who's never met me in person, like I felt a very intimate understanding of myself and my energies. And really with the brief encounter we've had, like I definitely feel more guided on my path. So I thank you dearly for that. I look forward to definitely connecting and working with you more. And yeah, it's really interesting. Once again, with the whole notion of seeing energies, it's great to know you've had like 25 plus years of experience. I would say with the Leo moon, what makes it dope, because Sagittarius can see, but not every Sagittarius knows what they're seeing, or sometimes the energy could be unstable. They could see stuff really strongly once, but with that Leo moon, it makes it so that it's stable and it comes from an infinite source. And I feel like Leo and Sag too is a very special affinity because they're both like the same energy of each other. Sag kind of comes from the solar strength of Leo and representing love and joy. So that's one combo that I always like pay attention to a lot closely. It's very God goddess conscious for sure. And
I
I'm sorry, I was
I
gonna
would
say
agree
something
with
other.
it's okay. I was going to agree with that statement. I've always honored the duality in life. I myself am a more masculine female.
Mhm.
I try to be feminine, but I am very mm, very strong in my energies. Sometimes a lot of people wouldn't recognize that if I didn't tell them that. But when they get to know me and
Yeah.
they're hanging out with me and they realize that we could go into the whole alpha female thing. I I do the alpha female thing in the wolf form. Like it is very much,
When you let your
and that
Taurus rising down.
I do, and it's like very, but it's still family oriented and friend pack oriented.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. You do not mess with my friends or family. If I take you under my wing or put you in my pack, um, you can guarantee that you've got somebody who has got your back. And it's one of those. I don't play. I do not play with people that I am protective over.
Yeah.
Um, and most people would not think that of me. They think, oh, she's very submissive. I'm I am, but I'm not. I've actually had people call me the nicest bitch they've ever met. So
That's amazing.
yeah, so that I was given that title many years ago, and I use it, and I'm fond of it. Because it is being very honest. It's saying I am very nice, but it also says I can be a total bitch if you make me. So
It's interesting too. One thing I deeply respect about Leo and Sagittarius is those are the two signs other than water signs that directly confront spiritual attack. Like I don't have to convince either of those signs that demons are real, dark forces are real, because they kick ass. They kick those their asses every day. And I can imagine like you have what's it like having the regular interaction, but then also seeing attachments attached to people and having to deal with that life.
that that is very interesting. There are ways to create portals to remove things and send them back very easily. You can also bind things, or you can send them back to the earth or the water, or you don't really want to send them to air, but you can send them to the fire to be reborn, purified, things like that. So there's different ways that you can deal with them, and
Mm,
watching them figure out which one's going to work best to deal with them is fun. I won't lie. I bind a lot of energies, and I will bind them to stones. And then when the time comes, the stones will be put back to a special place in the earth to be recycled, and kind of there's a concept of soul shredding, which is where you totally decimate a soul, but or demon, or whatever. I don't like to do that. I prefer to piss them off and make them start their path over again.
Oh, nice.
So and actually, you talk about the energies and everything. My house sits on 4 portals, 4 energy fields. So I've got dragons, fairies, angels, and demons, and then the middle is spirit, which is me, and we get spirits that walk by and visit and stuff. Awesome. They tend to stay out of my house, because if they come in the house, they get caught in a loophole, kind of, and it depends on whether or have any malintent towards me or my family. If they have any of that, they get locked into my spirit room. But otherwise, they'll just kind of loophole through the house and don't, so that's always fun, because then you got to stop them, and okay, you have 2 choices. I make you leave, or you leave of your own free will.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. And on concerning that, how do you know? How do you bind? How do you know when to bind? How do you know when to cast them away? And more importantly, how do you know that they actually are bound and cast away? For those who aren't too versed.
So I personally know, so higher level, and let me explain something here. Most people are not going to bind to a rock or something, okay? Because it's well, it can be dangerous. If it gets loose, you have to go track that bad boy down, okay? And I do not ever. I base it on the level of energy. So honestly, the higher level of energy it gets 2 choices. It either gets bound to something, or it gets sent back through a portal. With these particular energies that I have bound to the stones, and I have 3 of them. They 2 of them are mid level, 1 of them's a higher level, and the reason why I have them bound is not for me to use, folks, but because it would be very easy for them to escape a portal and jump off that. So rather than risk that, I have them bound, and they are kept in very special spots where they are constantly watched by higher energies.
Yeah.
And those energies, have shown me where I need to go to release them back to the earth. I'm supposed to go to some place that meets earth and water, so a stream, and I know exactly where I'm supposed to go. I just haven't been able to get there yet. So, I figure I will get there when it's time.
Okay.
So, I do a lot of things happen in the universe's time, not my time. So.
Yeah, I could learn from that. I'm always trying to get the universe to work on my schedule. Like, no. But or rather, yeah. So so it just really depends a lot on like knowing or trusting that when you do it, it's done, and not necessarily doubting it. Or
Yeah,
some people.
it's not doubting, but also I can see the energies, so I know
Oh,
it's
true.
done.
Yeah, true.
So it's like recently you and I made discussion a little bit about Magic Wars. I love the
Yes.
Magic Wars. So recently had an episode where some people were putting a lot of negative energy against me, and there were some more energies that were drawn to me, and they're not able to get through my inner shield to get into my property. So it was more like pushing, it was agitating one of the entities I have, and it kept coming out of the stone, and it would stand there. It would be tethered to the stone, but it would be standing outside of the spot it was supposed to stay in. So, and it actually did end up breaking free, and I had to go track it down and put it back where it belongs. But that's one of those things that, again, because I see the energies, I know when they go missing. And, it doesn't matter where you go in life, you leave an energy signature unless you know how to erase that signature. When you cast magic, when you are doing anything, you leave signatures, and I can see those and I can follow them. So it's definitely makes it sometimes fun. I won't lie.
I bet.
I do. Well, I do a lot of shadow walking. So um, I a practitioner of the shadow magics. I practice light and dark, just like I said when I was 6 years old. It's all about my intent, and it's all about using things for the greatest good. And so I do a lot of shadow casting. I do a lot of shadow walking. I've gotten to the point that I will shadow walk while I'm awake. It always freaks my friends out. So yeah.
What exactly is shadow walking?
So shadow walking's where you project your energies outwards, and you kind of you walk in the shadows, so you can't be seen by other energies, but you can still manipulate the energies around you. So it's like I call shadows to myself, and I hide in them as I'm walking. Like I can walk around and so like I've oogled your energies before I even asked to oogle your energies, because I oogle everybody's energies first. I see you, I meet you, your energies are oogled. I'm sorry. Most people, there are very few people who have a shield that I cannot see through.
Nice.
I do not ever break somebody's shield unless I'm doing protection for, like there are very, very specific reasons that I would break somebody's shield without or go through their shield without permission. And it's few and far between. To me, touching somebody else's energy is a very intimate thing. And doing so, I can stand in the same room as you, and to me, you're naked, but that doesn't mean I'm going to touch you. So, it's, I try to practice my path with a lot of integrity. I try to always be follow my own set of morals and things, but I do follow the one real universal law, which is you don't exert your will over other people. So we are not meant. We are all meant to walk our own path and get to where we're going in our own time. So I really do try to not exert will over other people. So, in some of my business, I do love spells. Now, most people are going, "Isn't that exerting your will?" No. All I do is, if love existed, if there's feelings that already exist, I just fan the flames. If there's nothing there, then I'm not doing anything at all.
That way it's not forced. Yeah.
Exactly. Because who wants to wonder, do you love me because of a spell, or do you love me because you love me? And most of the time, it's, I do a lot of healing spells with my love spells. Healing of communication, healing of self, healing of the relationships, ability for each person to be truthful and honest with each other, things like that. So, and again, I always assess energies before I offer spells to people. They'll come to me, and there are some people I have turned away, and it's like, sorry, you know?
Just not the time, just not the right motive or intent.
It just not the right motive or intent, or it's literally when I'm looking at the energies, there are just so many blockages. I can do an obstacle removal spell, and I mean, we all have little obstacles, but when there are heavy duty obstacles in the way, would be to me the higher conscious of that person saying, no, I'm not meant to be around this person, whether they're compatible, astrologically or whatever. I don't know, because I'm learning how to do nature, but that I've not mastered. Hell, I'm a very, very beginning novice. So I've got a great mentor. So, by the way, if you're watching, Mel, hi, I love you. So, but yeah, no, it's life is all about living in the balance, and sometimes finding that balance means that we have to go through dark times, and we have to learn how to dance with our own demons. I use the analogy of dancing with your demons and dining with your angels. So
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up Magic Wars too, because it's for those who are familiar with the Divine RPG I mentioned and the vibrational warfare. Magic Wars is honestly a way more accurate way to speak on it, because it's really what it is, the battle of intention and people just sharing their energy because they feel like they can control some things. And it's so much different when you can't see energies. You can really just kind of feel like you can sense something's happening, but you don't necessarily know. So it's very reassuring and refreshing from someone who does see to confirm like this is going on. It's not just in your head. And one thing that's cool about mutable signs is they give you the perspective, and you have that attitude. You've spoken about how you have shields around your house and energy signatures you can sense, something that most people may not really register or think of, which they should. It's just subtle thinking that can change your whole day and a lot of what you allow in your space. I think one of the biggest psychic attacks everyone goes through are advertisements that literally invade your mind to influence you to buy something you probably didn't want to do. And a lot of people let themselves get attacked by other people's ideas and whatnot. So yeah, it's really interesting.
well, and I am starting work with an online university, and one of the things that people who come to me and they want to learn magic or divination of any type, one of the first things I 100% require is that you take my full shielding class, because everybody thinks shielding, okay, you throw energy. There's advanced shielding. There really is advanced shielding techniques out there, and that's what I teach. Because to me, people's safety, people's family safety, and even the safety of the people that we're trying to help is so
Mhm.
important. When I am reading somebody, my shield needs to be strong enough to keep my shit inside too.
Yeah,
you know I can be having um, chaos go on in my life that I don't want pouring over onto my clients.
true.
you know and so it's really important to know how to shield yourself and shield others. And so to me, any one of the foundational steps in spirituality, and for those who are just entering into your path, whether it's spiritual or magical, please learn how to ground and shield, and
The
learn how to do it
basics.
properly. And whether you're using external methods or internal methods, it does not matter. Just get with somebody and go through it, figure out how to, you know, do it properly and what works best for you. One of the, you know, everybody's all meditation. Oh, you have to sit there and be quiet and do things in a certain way. Bullshit. You can meditate while you are doing your artwork. That's actually when I meditate, and that's when I shadow walk the most. Yeah. It's, I call it spiritual masturbation. You're feeding your soul. You're pleasuring your soul.
Yeah.
And, you know, so you find something you enjoy. You put up something the other day about orgasms cleanse the chakras.
Yeah.
You know what? You can meditate while having sex and actually realign a lot of shit. You know, sex magic is a real thing. So,
just based on your intent, right?
It is. It's all based on your intent. It is. You know, so when I'm sitting here and I'm letting myself get into a project, or I'm letting my energies just be and flow, whether I'm sitting with my eyes closed and listening to music, or doing my artwork, or making my jewelry, or watching TV even, which then you tend not to be really watching TV, but you know, it's allowing things to flow.
Yeah.
And not forcing any thoughts. So
not forcing thoughts.
Yeah, that's the crux of meditation, is not forcing thoughts.
Okay.
You know, for meditation. Now for magic, yeah, you're definitely forcing thought. You're some of my clients get irritated with me because I am so specific on my spell work. It's like, okay, you want a truth spell. All right. What do you want them to do with that truth? Do you want them to speak on it? Okay, they may speak it and then they may take it back. Do you want them to speak on it and act on their truth? Yeah. You know, and some people think I'm being an asshole because I'm like, all right, let's cast a money spell. All right, well, how do you want the money? Because if you don't get real specific with directing energies in the universe, you can cast a money spell. You walk outside, you find $5. The spell has worked.
And you didn't specify. That's true.
Yeah. So, you know, it's all about specification. Universe loves loophole. Well, I gave you money. You didn't specify how much. You didn't specify an abundance. You didn't. So, yeah, you know, and that's one of those things that, you know, it actually does play into the magic wars, is because you get people out there who are casting and doing things that they don't recognize that they need to be more specific on. So then you get energies that are just wreaking havoc in people's lives. And then you get other people who have to come through and clean it up, and they get pissed off because they're, you know, instead of taking the time to teach somebody something, they're like, well, screw you. I'm going to bind you or curse you so that every time you cast, and you know, there's a lot of pettiness out there.
Oh, a lot.
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
So much. And it's like, you know, up until May of this year, actually, I mean, I had a few clients. I was not working at doing my spiritual life coaching business full time like I am now. And yeah, kind of since I got pushed into the spotlight on certain things, it's like, oh my God, can I go back in my cave? It's like, I mean, I always knew about magic wars, and I knew about, but I didn't realize how petty people are. So yeah.
No, it's a huge problem, and that's more the level of the wars. Like people now have the power to do stuff that they may not have done, and it's like their true selves are coming out, you know. And you give someone the ability, what is their integrity going to show? And it's kind of sad to see the lack of integrity people have. But you know, it's interesting about spellcraft, because spellcrafting is an area I'm very passionate about. Astrology, but what I really always wanted to be is a spellcrafter. Like, I want to be the medicine man that can help people and change their lives with magic. But one thing that I didn't realize was, especially when it comes to prayer, I used to think, oh, why isn't my spells working? Why are my prayer working? And what I realized is it's one thing to have the ability to spellcraft. It's another thing to have the ability to be aware of what you're spellcrafting, because sometimes it'll happen so fast, I don't even realize that it did get answered, or I didn't direct the energy right, and there was a loophole that happened. So it's
Yeah.
amazing how it's hard to believe anyone who doesn't believe in this, because like the universe always responds like almost instantly. And it's just learning to see how, sometimes the universe says no or redirects, and it's learning to see how it is. And so it's like when people ask, did it work? It's like, did you notice it? Are you sure you didn't miss it? Does the universe have to give you another sign to show you it came? So it is what it is, but definitely fascinating. And where do you feel this phase of Magic Wars is going? Because I get the sense that it's starting to heat up, where
Mhm.
people are starting to kind of see. I don't think we'll be at your level anytime soon. Some of these younger kids are kind of there, but and as far as just like seeing energy, but yeah, where do you feel the trend is going, especially with the leading of political energy and these secret witches and wizards who think they can hide.
Um, well, I'm going to tell you this right now. Anybody, whether you are a dark worker or a light worker or a shadow worker, if you have really been called to play in the magic wars, on the side of balance, because not all that is light is good, not all that is dark is bad. And there are people who work in the dark for the light, and there are people who work in the light for the dark. Um, and if you've been called to work for balance, let's not say the greater good, but for the balance of the universe, of Gaia, you're not going to be able to hide much longer. So you might as well stop trying. The all there is going to be a lot of shit coming down the line, and we are going to have to get together and literally join hands across the world and heal some shit. And that is, and in doing so, we also need to teach our children and our children's children, what it means to be spiritually aware, and what it means to be, unconditionally, loving and accepting of people. Your path is not my path, but the destination is the same.
Yeah,
And it's not my job. It's not my job to tell you, what, you shouldn't practice that way. It's not my job to tell, because you notice in me talking about my way of doing spells. That's my way of doing spells. If you want to fuck with somebody's free will, that's your business. You've
mhm,
got to deal with those consequences, not me.
yeah,
I may have to clean up your mess, but I have no right to tell you not to do it. I can suggest that you don't, but that's me saying, hey, there's a water fountain over there. We're getting ready to go on a long walk. Why don't you take a couple drinks? It's
true.
up to you. It's my job to point out things along the path that can help you. It's not my job to throw stones in your path or to dig a pitfall for you to fall in. and
True.
and a lot of people don't get that. um I Anybody who has worked with me as a teacher, as a mentor, um hears me use the cup analogy with their path. My job is to hand you your cup of knowledge, or a cup that you will fill with knowledge, and to show you your path, and to go, this is how you get there. If you need me to walk along the path with you, I'm happy to. If you need me to help you along the way, I'm happy to. When we get to that giant void lake of knowledge that has everything in it, I'm going to tell you, it's your time to drink from it. Fill your cup. There are some that can set in the big river, but I will never fill their cup for them. That's not my job. It's to
True.
it's to show you how to get it. So, and there are people who, try to shove things down other people's throats who are spiritual, which are just as bad as some of the religious folks that try to shove things down people's throat. And it's like that's where some of this magic horse stuff comes from too.
Yeah,
Ego, it's a big thing.
definitely ego. And
Not the
it's
good kind either.
it's what they use to it's what the dark forces use to possess people, the ego, the pain, the depression. It made me understand
Hmm.
at a greater level why you have to have like good control. These are ways that you could be used. So just to kind of reiterate, it's amazing that you started your path at 6. What is it that you do now and officially, and what got you on this current path, even though you started at 6?
So you want my day job and my night job? So
Right.
professionally, I have a degree in nursing. So I am currently on sabbatical from that. I will be most likely be going back to that in the next few weeks. And while I'm on sabbatical, I am working on building my home business, which is, the divination. I teach, I cast spells, I do tarot readings, I do oracle readings. And I know people are like, oh, oracle's not a real, it's crap. But, I look at tarot looks at the big picture.
Mhm.
Okay. And it really tells you about everything that's going on. All
True.
right. Oracle gives you guidance as to what to do. Tarot's like, here's a warning sign. And Oracle's going to go, here's how we get around that warning sign without getting hurt.
True.
So I read charms. I make my own soap. I do candles. I do body. And the thing is I do it spiritually, so that I do it where I'm putting intent into the stones that I wrap. And I'm blessing them and things like that, so that they go out and they empower my clients. Or I do them where they're just pretty wrapped stones. It depends. Um, it's just like the artwork I did for you. Let me show you another piece I did. So this one, it's to help somebody on their path, you know, and that's. But then I've got another one that I've done recently. It's just a pretty piece of art. So
Mhm.
that's you know
No, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And um, I'm glad you brought up the home business too, as far as being being a real person that still has to balance the real world obligations and then stepping into something more entrepreneurial and unconventional, as some
Mhm.
may say. So, I mean, you're out here doing it. Once again, very honored that you would join us. I'm definitely going to have you back on so we could collab on more video topics. But before we do
Okay.
the guided meditation, let's play the 3 questions game. And
Okay.
we'll take turns asking each other questions. You can ask me one first, I'll answer it, and then I'll ask you one, and then we'll go 2 rounds, 2 more rounds.
All right. Hmm. At what point did you realize that you were channeling Michael fully?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh, wow, that's a really great question. So, um, actually, I'm so grateful for you because you helped confirm that, I had gotten so stuck on Michael. You helped confirm there's a little bit more than Michael that I work with. But yeah, Michael came through very, very strongly. Like when I started walking this path. In fact, Michael came through the strongest when I was very skeptical. And I was like, all these people talking about they talk to angels. I don't believe in the archangels. I think that they're just saying that. I think they're just everyone acts like they channel archangels. I had actually done a reading with an archangel reader. Her
Mm-hmm.
name's Iwana, really gifted. And I would even scoff at her too. Like she would give me a reading and I'd be like, I don't really believe in these angels like that. And this was the day after she had told me my guardian was Haniel at the time, and she did a ritual with Haniel and another angel. And she was like, "Yeah, be careful. Like, this is going to really cause changes. Like, just make sure you lay low." And at the time, I was like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm sure I'll be okay." In less than 24 hours, I got kicked out of my house. I started my journey. So I was like, "Oh my God, this is real." Okay. But it was until like after that, I humbled myself a bit. I started coming through. And then honestly, there wasn't really ever a moment that I kind of just realized it was Mike. I think it was, I think it's because it just flows more through me. So I never really know when I'm working with him, but it's really more so the feedback from people when I do some channeling and then people confirm are like, "Oh my gosh, like, yo, I really felt Michael's presence around you, or you really remind me of this energy." And that's when I started taking it more seriously because they would coincide with synchronicities like the 444 is a certain point, or just see the name. And I didn't get what it meant until after the fact and seeing more feedback. So yeah, that's a great question. I'm definitely, it's a little bit different because I feel like in this incarnation, Michael is kind of fused with another entity. And it's like, well, not necessarily completely fused, but it's working with another energy. So it's not like the traditional original Michael energy that usually is there. At least my experience with the energy. Very great question, because I'm not really, I'm just getting into seeing energies. Like I'm barely seeing them and sensing either. I'm very much so consider myself blind to a degree. So it's to answer your question, I feel like the angels have been around me, but it's like working with a blind dude. It's like, oh my gosh, what is he gonna notice these signs we put in his face? So it is what it is. But my question for you is, what do you advise for people who are wanting to spiritually evolve to the next level? What's work? What do you advise, or how would you awaken someone, or how do you like work with the crown chakra to get that evolution? If you even work with the crown chakra.
I do work with the crown chakra. I work with the crown chakra and the third eye, and no, I'm not opening your third eye. I do work with those. When I'm working with people, for one, me personally, I actually move the energies. So I do energy work to help open people, kind of like the Reiki masters and things like that. But I actually make people do their own work also through it's a semi-guided meditation that I do. But we visualize light coming in and hitting different aspects of their body and opening things, clearing things. And I've had people come back to me and go, "Yeah, the dreams I'm having now, can you explain them?" Well, sure. Let's talk more about what's going on. And then once the energy is flowing to those areas, you need to focus in on discerning those energies.
My camera's gonna go off, but I'll be right here.
Okay. So yeah, you need to work on discerning those energies and being able to understand what each energy is, what that energy means to you. Um, I say each one of us is on our own path, and so what your divine is not necessarily my divine. Um, but how we connect with that is by really discerning what the divine means to us, and then focusing on that and figuring out how we can align ourselves with that. What makes your soul sing? What's your soul bliss? And it's little things like that that actually help you more spiritually awaken than any book that you will read, any movie you will watch, any meditation you will do. It's honoring your soul's purpose. Um, is really going to open you up spiritually more than anything else. So if dancing in the rain brings you soul bliss, get out there and dance. You know, that's the way of the divine connecting with you. It's the way of the divine refreshing your soul and
Mm-hmm.
allowing you to be open, because when you're relaxed and feeling refreshed like that, that's when shit filters in.
True.
So,
And you assist in activations, right? For people who may want to.
yes,
Nice.
yes, I
I'm
do.
definitely going to consult you for that then. Another level. Once you said you won't open my third eye, I got curious. I was like, oh, hold on. But yes, I guess we're on round two.
Okay. All right. So, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? What is your goal? What is it you want?
Oh, amazing question. So 10 years from now will be 2028. And let me make sure if I'm correct. 2028. Yep. The North Node will be out of Aquarius into Capricorn, and Pluto will be in Aquarius. Uranus will be in Gemini. So I have 10 years from now to fulfill my destiny. And one of my major main goals is to get astrology and to get, well, one of my main goals is to create schooling and to be a dean of a school, which might be more in my third 40s. It's possible now with online schooling. But one of my
Yes.
main goals is to get astrology, to get these modalities into the schooling system, into the curriculum, so that public schools and private schools are teaching astrology in elementary school when it's supposed to be learned, when the brain is formulating, and they're able to take economically ruled economic astrology classes and just kind of filter these in to try and get this stage of science mainstream and to really, get people to see that it's there. And we're almost there. There's schools teaching it. Project Soul just in my college is being taught it. So thankfully, it's not too far off of a goal. In 10 years from now, I really want to move forward with nonprofit. So
Mhm.
the first phase of this is to really gather a following and to really connect with the community. I really want to turn that into having outreach programs that, one of my goals is to go to every single prison and give free astrology reading to inmates and really talk to them, really help the homeless, really give back to communities around the world, which is going to take some time. But I feel like in 10 years from now, I'll at least be in a position to where I could really do this full time. Like I'll be doing it, but it's like I now have the foundation to really, work that nonprofit sector. So that's definitely and just to be more involved, but other than that, that's more my goal. That's the direction I'm headed to. Definitely being a lot more outward focused, and also to be like a super magician, like, work on my stage performance and really use my spell crafting to make a difference in people's lives. So
That's
definitely.
very awesome.
Much appreciated. My question for you is, what is advice you have for this younger generation that's coming into these powers, but also being suppressed by the government and the older generation? Not everyone in the older generation.
Right. My biggest advice to anybody awakening, and especially the younger generation, is please remember to check your ego at the door, and remember that just because you're a powerhouse doesn't mean somebody else isn't a powerhouse too. We are all very powerful in our own way. Just because one person's lighthouse is a little bit bigger than yours doesn't mean that your light shines any less powerfully. Um, you know, Somebody might have more floors to their lighthouse and you only have one. That doesn't mean you're any less valid. All right. Stop comparing. Stop trying to one up each other. Stop. Just stop it. Okay. Let's take practical evolution into matters. A fish serves a purpose, so does an elephant. All right. Not everybody's going to be a fish and not everybody's going to be an elephant, but they both serve purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Honor that purpose and help help other people really embrace their purpose. So if your job is to protect your heart out. If your job is to cause chaos, okay, cause chaos. Don't sit there and try to, don't try to be all balanced, because you're just going to throw yourself off, and then you throw everything else off. And obviously I'm not an advocate of like total chaos, but controlled chaos has purpose in the world. Hurricanes, tornadoes, those things are controlled chaos by Mother Nature. So that's what I'm talking about. As you're entering into your own path, try to remember we are on our own path. Stay on your path, honor other people's paths, and help each other grow in that. As a friend of mine likes to say, stay in your own damn lane.
Yep.
So.
Very great advice. Very great advice. It's important. A lot of people don't necessarily embrace that controlled element of chaos. They want to be too positive, too light, and sometimes chaos is positive, or too dark. Yeah, you get too much extreme. It's just never good.
Exactly. So, all right. Last question. If you had one wish that could be granted, what would it be?
Oh, my cop out right here. My one wish would be the health and wealth of everyone who loves me. Like everyone who, whether I know them or not, like if they truly love me and care about me, then they'll always be healthy and they'll always be wealthy. And
okay.
Yeah, that's
right.
like my selfless wish.
I'm going to rephrase that. See, if you had one wish and it cannot be for anybody else's well-being, but your own, what would that be?
Okay. It's hard to answer this because usually the stuff that I want, because my whole philosophy is, I can get anything I want myself. But I mean, sometimes I've been having to think about this, especially with wording, right? Because I feel like sometimes I wish for stuff that I already have, and I just need to realize I have. So, a Snickers bar. No, I was joking. A lifetime supply of Snickers. No, I would wish for. It's definitely tied to my wish is to be the greatest me. That's really my huge obsession. That's why I'm so into like harnessing supernatural powers. Like I want to do everything that I do at my greatest level. And I'm not opposed to like training to get there, but like there's just a certain state of mind and stage that I want to be able to transform into a limitless state of consciousness. And if I can get to that point, then I can do everything with the fullness of my heart and not having to deal with certain shadow tendencies, which is my job to work through, and I'm totally okay with that. But if I did have the wish to like,
so may I rephrase that?
Yeah.
Your wish is to have a direct connect to the universal void's massive magical energy to which you can access it at any moment.
Yes, to be the embodiment of it, to be able to just harness almighty magic, Lucy mode, yes. And to turn it on and off. That is my wish.
Okay.
Oh, I'll be right back one more time.
Okay.
My final question to you while I go is, what are your 3 favorite zodiac signs and the 3 signs that give you the most challenge?
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. So, my 3 favorite, obviously I have to say Sagittarius because we're just awesome. No, I'm kidding. I'm finding out I'm I'm kind of an odd Sagittarius also. But my favorite female Aquarius, sorry, not love for all Aquariuses, But female Aquarius, I like Gemini. Did you hear that?
No, I just heard Gemini right now.
I like Gemini.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I apparently I really am an odd Sagittarius, because I do. I actually, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, I've known her since I was 16 years old, is a Gemini. Let's see. So we've got female Aquarius is one of my favorite signs. Gemini as a whole, and then good Lord. I really want to say Pisces also, because my mom was.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that I have the most challenge with are Capricorns. Scorpios and I like each other, but there's always difficulty there. And then, male Aquarius.
Male Aquarius is very challenging. That's one of those signs where the men and women, there's always a harsh difference. Like, people either hate the men or they kind of tolerate the men. This is interesting. Gents too. So, yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm so glad we made the cool list. Definitely grateful for that. I don't have to feel guilty. Like a lot of us have been having to. It's like these days, if you're a Gemini, you gotta like watch your back. Like, oh my God. But other than that,
you guys get a bad rap.
Oh yeah, and I didn't know. I think Aries is starting to take that mantle again. It wasn't always. We didn't always. It's Scorpio used to have that bad rap. Now Gemini has it again, which is crazy. But it is what it is. Now, yeah. I think you said you might need some meditation music, correct? For the
yes, yes, cool. Just something low in the background.
Cool.
And so, in order to do the meditation, when the music goes on, I just want everybody to put your phones down. We're going to stop watching the screen, and yes, you're going to close your eyes. So I'm going to lead you through a short guided meditation, just so you can see the universal light, and start a mini shield for yourself. Okay, so this is going to provide you with a first layer shield.
Is the music too loud, or should I?
Yeah, if you can take it down just a little bit.
Cool. Is this good?
Right there's perfect. Right there's perfect.
Awesome. It's a light body activation meditation.
Okay. So we're going to do something called 5 to 7 breathing. I call this the sweet spot in breathing. You're going to breathe in for a count of 5, your own count of 5, and you'll breathe out for a count of 7. So we're going to take a deep breath in, hold it for a second, and release. I want you to take a deep breath in, hold it, and release. Some of you are going to feel like this is a very difficult breathing exercise. As you get used to it, it becomes more natural. Just count in your head. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out for 7. Continue this breathing pattern, and as you take your next deep breath in, I want you to visualize and feel the energy of the universe coalescing around your body. I want you to see a golden white light coming down from the sky and wrapping itself around you. As it comes down from the sky, as you breathe in deeply, you'll feel it start to touch the top of your head. And as it touches the top of your head, you may feel tingling sensation. It may feel like fingers running through your hair. It may just feel like tickling. As this energy is touching your body, it's combining with your aura, it's combining with your energies to cleanse you and protect you. As it coalesces around you and moves from the top of your head down across your third eye. With your next deep breath, you begin to feel more relaxed. You begin to feel secure. You begin to feel safe. I want you to take a deep breath in, and I want you to picture this energy moving down across to your throat chakra. Here, you can feel somebody touching your neck very gently. It may feel like a tickling. It may be a slight pressure, warmth, or a vibration. As the energies swirl in the base of your neck, golden white light, and forming a shell around this area, it's to protect you so that you may communicate with clarity and with truth, not fearing what other people think about your truth and your need to make your needs known. To help guide other people will be clearer and easier. Then the energy moves down to your heart chakra. And for a lot of people, this is a very heavy area filled with emotion. Some of you are not going to be ready to deal with the emotions. So I want you to imagine this golden white light just surrounding it, protecting it very softly, so that when you're ready, you can reach in through the shield and deal with those emotions. For now, they are protected, you are protected, and you are safe. Deep breath in, and it goes down to your solar plexus. Here's our will. Here's where we feel our strongest. And as the energy moves into the solar plexus, I want you to feel strong. I want you to feel empowered, secure. Deep breath in, and energy will move down into that sacral plexus, which is in that groin area. You may feel tingly. You may feel moist. I'm not sure what you'll feel, but I want you to take a deep breath in and just know that the energy is there to open you up to receiving the fertility of your greatest higher consciousness. Deep breath in, and energy moves up into your root chakra. This is going to tether you to other people. This is going to tether you to the earth, communications, connections. Energy is going to protect these and make sure that the energies that are being brought into your life are going to serve your highest purpose, that you're able to identify when they are not serving your highest purpose, so that you may set them down and walk away in a safe manner. I want you to take another deep breath in, and as the energy moves down the root chakra into your legs and into the earth, you're going to feel grounded. You're going to feel as though you are connected firmly into this plane. And I want you to take a deep breath in and feel a shooting green light of energy come up out the top of your head and connect you with the universe. You now have two pillars of light, one golden white coming down, one green going up. This connects you with the as above, so below. You are connected to the divine universal energies. You are protected by them. You are shielded. And as you take a final deep breath, I want you to blow out any negative energies that are around you. Breathe gently in, open your eyes, feel refreshed, and ready to face tomorrow.
Woo! That was beautiful. That was really amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this is like a simple meditation anyone can do to connect themselves.
Right.
I said simple. It was more than simple, but the methodology.
No, I think it is simple. I think it is. With it's about visualizing. So if you have trouble visualizing things, um, and some people do, sometimes you do need to listen to somebody's voice describing things very detailed. Um, a lot of times, when you work with somebody who is good at guided meditation, they're actually able to project into your own brain. So when you're doing it one on one, it's much easier for me to do a guided meditation. When I make guided meditations for people, like somebody comes to me and says, "Oh, I have anxiety," create a whole detailed scenario of them getting rid of their anxiety, and I use their name in it and such, and they listen to it as many times as they need to. Um, but that way, I am able to project into them. So if you have trouble with visualizing these things, what I suggest doing is you get a video and you watch what golden white light coming down from the ceiling looks like, so that you can imagine it, and then go back and do the meditation with what you've just seen. Practical to application. So,
And to close, what services do you offer, and how can people reach you?
right now I am offering, good Lord, a shit ton of services. I'm offering, teaching. I'm actually offering a course on becoming a master magic user. So,
Ooh, I'm taking that course. I'm gonna be one of the first
I,
students.
I would be honored. So yeah, I teach a class on that, and it goes through the basic shielding, which is kind of what we did right here, to very advanced shielding, all the way up to, learning how to do astral magic, not astral.
Astral magic, gotcha.
So, high and low magic, things like that. I do tarot. I do the oracle cards. I do charms, which I actually have my charms here, because a lot of people are going to go, "What the hell are charms?" So I have them right here. So they are just charms, like what you would get on a necklace or earrings or whatever. Think of it as doing a tea leaf or a coffee reading without the waste of fluid for me. Otherwise I'd be peeing all the time. Um, so I do the guided meditations. I offer the spiritual artwork. I cast spells. I create custom spell bundles for people, where I actually do the intention work, but then you're able to order like a candle and herbs, a soap or whatever, and then you're able to put your energy into it also. Um, you're not casting, you're just aiding your energy. So lots of them. Anyway, you can find me on Facebook. I am under Storm Dancers, Crafts, and Spiritual. I frequent one of the larger groups on Facebook. Can I do a little plug? Because
Please
I
go ahead.
offer, okay, it is called Free Psychic Eye Readings, a Facebook group. But I am the reader's manager there, and I do lots of readings there. Um, and then I have my business page. So, and I'm working on website. It's just I've been otherwise occupied. So,
Sweet. And if you guys refresh the page, I have the link to her Facebook in the description box below. Hit her up. She's giving me a reading. It was accurate. It was super accurate. And this is after the picture too. So I'm really gonna be in that magic course too. Like, definitely can't wait for that. So do you have any final word of advice for any people stepping into this path?
breathe,
Oh my God, that's so
breathe.
good advice. Yes.
Just remember to breathe. And if anybody wants to hit me up and ask me why breathing is so damn important, there's actually a reason for it. So remember that fresh of breath air.
Amazing. And I personally forgotten to breathe, and I'm an air sign, so that's that's every time I hear that, it's just like, yes, so true. Breath of air, activate that. And yeah, make sure you guys hit her up for sure. She's amazing. And yeah, Join us live on Wednesday on Future Life TV, and we do a special ritual with the homeboy Tim. And until next broadcast,